I'm ready.
Okay. I'm sure people will keep trickling in, you know, a few minutes after, but I don't know if you want to just, I'll start letting people in so they can.
And then you'll let people in as if people do come in.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you don't have to worry about that. And I'll like dump stuff in the chat too. If there's any stuff in the chat, do you want me to do anything with the chat for you, or are you?
I've got it up. I mean, if they have any questions, because there's a part where they'll be inputting stuff into the chat, like I'm going to get them engaged. So yeah, I mean, you don't have to do anything with the chat. I'll kind of look at it. If you notice that I'm really missing something, you can always jump in and say, hey, there was a question you might have missed. That's fine with me. You know, I'm flexible.
Okay, cool. All right, I'm going to start letting people in then.
Awesome. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking I should probably spotlight myself. Do you think that's a good idea? Yeah, that real quick.
Hey everybody, good to see you all. Go ahead and take a minute and put your name and where you're from in the chat so we can find out where everybody's coming from today. We're going to get started in just one more minute. Destiny, hi Susie. Glad you guys could join us. Go ahead and put your name and where you're from in the chat. We'll get started in just another minute. Evelyn. Jude, our newest member of the Foundations team, yay. All right, well, it's a minute after 3. I want to honor everybody's time. I just want to say hello. I'm Elizabeth Seary. I'm the Executive Director of Teaching and Learning at Foundations, Inc. And I really want to thank you all for taking some time to join us for another episode of our Beyond School Hours National Education Conference follow-up webinars. Before we get started, I just want to give you a little bit of background about Foundations, Inc. We are a national education nonprofit. We're located in Mount Laurel, New Jersey. And our mission is to improve the quality of education by building the skills of educators. So we work across the school day with after-school programs, schools, districts, and states in order to create a brighter future for every child every day. If you are interested in learning more about Foundations, go ahead and take a minute and follow us on social media. We'll make sure that that information gets put in the chat. And you might already know us from our signature professional learning experience, the Beyond School Hours Conference. Our conference is held each year in February. And in 2022, I'm so happy to say that we will be back in Orlando, Florida, and we're going to be on site. So we hope that you will all join us because registration is open. But today we're so excited to have Jess Wadleigh, Physical Activity Specialist from Skillastics, with us today. Jess is going to share some simple academic enhanced activities to engage children in active learning. So I hope you all have your 10 pieces of crumpled up paper ready to go. Thanks for joining us, Jess.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for being here today and joining me as we dive into the laws of motion, integrating STEM with physical activity. Before we jump in, I just want to give you a little bit of my background so you know who's in front of you for the next hour. Again, my name is Jess Wadleigh. I am a physical activity specialist for Skillastics. But before that, I did teach physical education for grades K through 8 in Southern California. I helped with my school's after-school program. And then in my summers, I ran multi-sports camps every summer for 13 years. So I have a lot of experience in how do we get kids engaged to want to move, right? Excited about moving. How do we get them to want to get off their phones, right? We know right now that a lot of kids want to just be on their phones all the time. They don't want to sweat. They don't want to move. So we have to be creative and we have to find these golden resources and techniques to implement into our programs to get these kids excited about moving and to have a positive experience within all of the movements that they do. So that's what we're here today, is to not only dive into that piece there, but then how do we implement the academic piece too, and what we call active learning. And so with that, we're going to dive in. We're going to talk a little bit about active learning, just so we know the importance of it. Then we're going to jump into some icebreakers, talk a little bit about different brain boosts and things that you can do with the kids. I'm going to give you a couple samples of activities that you can do with the kids that are combining academics and physical activity together. And then halfway through, we're going to transition into using, instead of materials, on-site type tangible materials with your physical activity program, is how can we use virtual programs and technology to also help us with implementing this active learning piece with our kids. So we're using tangible, we're using virtual, and for a well-rounded program for our kids to dive into learning STEM while they're active. So first thing that I want to talk about, like I said, is this active learning. Like, what is active learning, right? We hear about it all the time, but what is active learning? Don't think too hard into it, right? Like, I ask this all the time when I do workshops and presentations, and I'm surprised at the amount of uncertainty that people have in answering that question. So don't overthink it. When you see the words active learning, it's really that. Right? It's active while you're learning. So whether that's through, games and activities, if it's project-based learning, hands-on, we are being active with our bodies while we're learning. And so that piece is pretty simple to comprehend, but then I'll always have some people here and there that will say to me, well, why? Why would I want to do that? When I have children sitting down, whether it's homework time, whether it's specifically learning a certain subject, why would I want them moving around? That sounds not good to me, right? They're more containable, they're more manageable when they're just sitting, right? Well, that person that's asking that question just either doesn't have the knowledge of why it's important or hasn't been informed yet of why. And once they see it, they go, oh, I never realized all the benefits. So I've put together this little kind of domino effect thought process of why active learning is so important. And I want to share that with you. So think of it this way. When you exercise, your body's moving, whether you're running, jumping, whatever activity that you're doing, your respiratory, right? Your breathing starts to increase. And also your heart rate, right? Your heart is pumping faster because we are exercising. So we're breathing heavier, right? In and out, right? We're breathing, heart is pumping quicker. And with that comes the blood that is flowing quicker in your body, right? Because things are moving faster. So the blood is circulating in your body at a higher rate. And when the blood is flowing faster, more oxygen is being delivered to your brain. And when you have more oxygen in your brain, your concentration levels go up. And when your concentration levels go up, you're retaining more information because your concentration levels are higher. And so therefore you're retaining more information. And what is a direct result of retaining more information? Our test scores are going up, right? Because the kids are better prepared, because they have more knowledge in their head. And that's why the test scores are going up. Now, equally as important as wanting our test scores to go up is we want our behavior issues to go down, right? And how do we do that? We get behavior issues to decrease by letting energy out of our body, right? So we are tackling both of those with active learning. Our test scores are going up because they're retaining more information. The test scores are going up. And then boom, on the other side, behavior issues are going down because we're letting them get their energy out, right? You don't always have a bad kid. These quote unquote bad kids are not always bad kids. They're kids that have an excess amount of energy and it has to get out of their bodies, right? So if you have a kid contained in a chair and they're listening, right? Almost like anybody, adults, students, across the board, doesn't matter your age. If you're sitting in a chair and just watching a presentation for an hour or so, your mind is going to drift. It's natural, right? And you might start thinking about something and it might be penting up energy. And what do kids do when they're sitting in chairs? They start flinging things. They might move their leg and kick somebody. They might start speaking out, right? That child needs to let energy out. So the worst thing that you can do for that child is say to that child, you know what? You're not going to be able to participate in our fun game later. You're not going to be able to participate in recess day. You're not going to be able to do our fun activity that we're doing because you weren't behaving. That child, you've now created like a time bomb, because the child already had energy that they had to get out. And now you've created emotion in that child because now they're angry, they can't have fun. And now they've now created more energy. So now you have a child that's going to act out even more. And it's a continuous effect of that kid, because I've seen kids in programs where they're constantly having to sit out because they're not behaving. Well, their constant behavior issues are because they're not letting their energy out, right? So the best thing that you can do for those types of kids is these instant activities, these brain boosts, these quick instant activities to get their energy out, and then they can come back and they can focus again. All right. With doing all this active learning is tackling all of that. So if you're having any behavior issues in your program, or you're seeing that, hey, the school kids are struggling, say with their homework, anything like this, with the school test scores, all of these things are solved with the active learning piece. Okay, so that is why I hope that helps, in understanding why it's so important. And now we're going to dive into the fun stuff, where you're going to see some activities and we're going to do some things together, and you're going to be able to implement these into your programs so that you can get these kids to get moving into learning STEM. So we're going to dive right in. First one is a nice little brain boost. If you happen to have a pen or a pencil in your hands, I'd love you to be able to just free up your hands. I'm going to take a look. If you'd like to turn your camera on, you can, which I know most of you have them off, and that's okay. But what I'd like you to do is take your hands, and I want you to take one hand, and I want you to point your finger straight out. And then I want you to take your other hand, and I want you to give me a thumbs up. Okay, thumbs up, and you're pointing your fingers out. Now, when I say switch, you're going to switch so that your thumb turns into your pointer finger, and your pointer finger turns into your thumb. Okay, we're going to start out slow. Ready? Switch. 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 We're going to get faster here. Switch. Switch, 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 switch. Nice. All right. I see smiles. I see laughing. Okay. So this is exactly what happens with your kids. So what I just did was I accessed both sides of your brain, right? So for any of you right now that while I was talking about active learning, if maybe you were drifting off thinking about, what you need to get at the grocery store later or something like that, I've now re-engaged you. You all just smiled and you were all having a good time, right? I've now re-engaged you. So if you have a group of kids in front of you and you notice that they're starting to drift off, or they're not paying attention, hey, everybody, thumbs up, point a finger out. Let's go. Switch, 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 right? Now, I've had some people say, yeah, but once the kids get it, it's old activity, not going to use it, right? But it's not true, because the kids that don't get it right away, this takes a while. The kids that don't get it, they're just looking at their hands or trying to figure it out, right? The kids that get it, what do they want to do? They want to show off. Hey, look at me, look at me, look at me, right? They'll brag about it till the end of time, right? I can do it, you can't, right? That's what they do. So it's a timeless, quick, icebreaker that you can do with your kids to get them engaged. So we're going to do one more. This one's a little more difficult. So if you had trouble with the first one, just bear with me for this one. I want everyone to give me a rock on. And then with your other hand, you're going to give me a hang loose. Okay, so you got the hang loose and the rock on. You know what's coming next, right? So here we go. When I say switch, rock on turns into the hang loose will turn into the rock on. Okay, so here we go. Ready? Switch. Switch. I see some I love yous out there. I love you too. Okay, switch. Switch. Good. Switch. 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 Okay, so I see some people, right? Someone had it right. That's hard. Yeah, it is. It's difficult. You got to practice it. But I'm working both sides of your brain, getting you excited, and you can see how your kids are going to get excited for that too. Okay, so take your time learning that first, right? And then you can teach it to your kids and get them engaged. If you want a quick tip on this one, the only thing that you're focusing on are these 4 fingers. So all you're thinking about is tucking a thumb in and bringing a finger down. That's the only thing that you're focusing on for this one. Don't worry about the pinkies. They always stay up. Okay, nice and easy. Okay, all right. So that is your initial brain boost, little icebreaker that you can do with your kids to get them engaged, get them excited, get them on track to learn and move. Okay, so The next thing that we are going to do is I'm going to jump into a little instant activity. It's a nice little game you can do with your kids. And this is called jumping math. So we're incorporating movement and we're incorporating math with this. I'm going to slide my chair over and step back so you can see me fully back here. What you're going to do is your kids, when you get them set up for this, they're actually going to be back to back. So you're going to have your kids partner up. They're going to be back to back. And you're going to have them jump 3 times and then turn and face each other. When they turn and face each other, they are going to hold up the numbers 1 through 5, only one hand and no zeros. So the number can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So what they'll do is they'll jump 3 times, 1, 2, 3, and they'll turn and they have a number up. So if I have 2, and let's say one of you was holding up the number 5 as my partner. What is 5 plus 2? It is 7. Whoever yells out 7 first is the winner of the activity. Okay. And then they do it again. So we go again. 1, 2, 3, they turn 5. Maybe their partner had 5. And now the answer is 10. Whoever yells it out first is the winner of that activity. There's a couple variations to this. So first thing, best out of 3, whoever wins, whoever gets the 2 wins first, then they're going to split. They'll find another partner. Okay. So now the kids are running around, finding other partners, jumping, turning, doing math. Okay. That's with one hand. You can do all of this the same, or now you make it a little harder and you go, okay, now we're doing 2 hands, right? So it might be 9 plus maybe the other person has 6, and then you have the answer, right? And then you keep doing it. So you're doing 2 hands. Okay. Then you can go back down to one hand and do multiplication, right? So I hold up a 3, somebody else holds up a 2, my partner. What is 3 times 2? 6. Whoever yells it out first is the winner. Okay. So that is called jumping math. The nice spin that I like to put on this is I like to get the kids to know how to do it first, and then you can turn it into a tag game. Okay, so the kids are back to back. They 1, 2, 3, they jump, they turn. Whoever yells out the correct answer first is the winner, right, of that match. The person who didn't starts running away, and the person who got it right starts to chase them to tag them. When they tag them, they just turn and they do it again. So that's how you can create a tag game out of this as well. So again, movement, 100% of the time, we're learning math. Okay. If you want to do specific fact cards with math, maybe you do jumping. Whoever answers it right also gets to read off a card, right? For math, you can throw other questions in there. So there's a lot of ways you can create some fun learning activities with this simple game, right? No equipment is involved for this. So super, super easy to do. Okay. The next one is called rock, paper, scissors, stem. So we all know rock, paper, scissors, right? Rock, paper, scissors, right? And we've seen a ton of people play this game, but is there any activity involved in it? Not really, right? You're going like this. That's my heart rate's not up right now, right? That's not doing anything for me. So we got to get our whole body involved in it, right? So same type of concept with the jumping math is you're going to get these kids to partner up. All right, partner up. And what they're going to do is they're going to face each other for this one. So remember, jumping math, they were back to back, but rock, paper, scissors, they're going to face each other. Okay. And they're going to jump 3 times. Rock, paper, scissors, show. Now, instead of using our hands, we're going to use our whole body. So if they land like this, they are the paper. If they land like this, they are the scissors. And if they land like this, they are the rock. Okay. And what beats what again, right? So paper beats the scissors. All right. Scissors beats the paper, and then paper beats the rock. Okay. So that's how you can tell who, quote unquote, wins that activity. Okay. So you've got, this is the first piece. I haven't brought the stem in yet. So face to face, you go rock, paper, scissors, show. And then we have whoever wins. So right now, I know a lot of you have your cameras off. We're going to do one right now where you're playing against me. Okay. You're playing against me. So everyone's going to get ready. I'm going to go rock, paper, scissors, show. And you'll see if you beat me or if I beat you with the rock, paper, scissors. So here we go. So know which one you are. If you're paper, you're here. If you're scissors, you're here. And if you're rock, you're doing this. Okay? So here we go. Rock, paper, scissors, show. All right. I got some of you. Renee beat me. Destiny, it looks like I got you. So that is how your kids are going to play this activity. Where does the STEM come in? Okay, so they've had this fun little competition. Let's say I won, right? Let's say I was the scissors and my partner was the paper. They get all excited about it. And now what happens? Well, you're going to want to have some STEM question cards. Okay, science, right? Technology, engineering, math. You've got question cards. You're going to place these in 2 different areas of your play area, whether you're outside or inside. Make 4 piles, science, technology, engineering, and math, right? Take another set of these cards, other area of the room. Why am I doing it in 2 areas of the room? Because I don't want all my kids going to one spot. That's going to be a line. People are going to be waiting. We want movement all the time, right? So we separate the card piles. If you have over 100 kids, maybe you want 4 card piles, right? But we want to make sure there's enough piles for people to run to. So rock, paper, scissors, show. I was the winner between me and my partner. I get to be teacher of the moment, where I get to run to one of those piles and I get to choose a question card. Okay, I happen to choose science. On the back of this card is a multiple choice. Can't see that too well, apologize. Multiple choice or a true false question. I have the answer at the bottom. So I ask my partner this question. I have the answer at the bottom. I let them know if they're correct or incorrect with the supporting fact that's at the bottom. And then this is where sometimes people get confused. You have to hold on to the card. A lot of times kids are like trained. They want to go return the card. That's not how this works. So this is the one piece that you have to really stress to the kids. They will hold on to the card. They will play rock, paper, scissors again. And then when they're done, that person, whoever the winner is for that match, when they go get the new card, they'll return this one. Okay, because if you have kids that will go return it in between, it slows it down. So rock, paper, scissors, winner goes and gets a question card, comes back. When that person is getting the question card, the person that lost the match is jogging in place. We don't want any standing. Person comes back, student asks their friend the question on the card. As soon as they're done, rock, paper, scissors again. The person who wins returns the card, gets a new one. So it's constant. You're having a constant little quick fun competition, and we're answering STEM question cards as well. Okay, so that is how you're going to be able. Hi, I see people waving. Hi. I love it. Hi guys. All right, so I love when there's active participants. It's very excellent. I love seeing everybody. Thank you again for being here. So okay, so with this now, active rock, paper, scissors, you've got jumping math, right? We've gotten over we've done our brain boost, right? With the thumb, right? Thumb finger and the rock on, hang loose. We've got the jumping math and the rock, paper, scissors. So now we're going to move on to another activity you can do that is called moving with the alphabet. And at the end of it, I'm also going to show how you tie in the STEM piece for this as well. But again, this is all part of active learning. So what you're going to do for moving with the alphabet is with just like these question cards that we have here, we also work a lot with activity cards, right? So all different activity cards, ways to get kids moving, 26 activity cards here. There's all different types of task cards that you can use as far as activities go. All right, so you've got these task cards here. There's 26 of them. You want to take these and you want to place them all over the ground of your play area, whether you're in a gym, outside, wherever you are, just place these laminated cards down on the ground. Then the reason you want 26 of them is because how many letters are in the alphabet? 26, right? So you want to have laminated cards, alphabet cards, for all of these activities. So what you're going to do is you're going to take, like I said, this card, right? Place it on the ground, and you're going to cover it with an alphabet card. And you have 26 of these laying on the ground. Now, to start this activity, you're going to have the kids and you're going to have them just to start with spell their name. Simple, right? So you start the music's blasting, kids are running around. My name is Jess, so I find the J. I move the J over and I see windmill. There's an activity that I have to do. If I don't know what it is, I can read the back of the card. Okay. I can also see the visual on the front. How many do I do? Before this activity starts, you're going to tell the kids whether they're doing the blue, the red, or the green number, beginner, intermediate, advanced. Always start them on beginner. So I know that I found the letter J for Jess. I know that I'm doing the windmill 6 times. When I'm done, cover it back up. Now I'm going to find the E so I can finish spelling my name and continue to be active. When I'm done spelling my name, right, this is where there can be a problem. I know some of you are probably already thinking of it. You're thinking, okay, Jess is 4 letters, right? But I have my friend over here, Sabrina, who's like, really, Jess is done already? And I still have a whole second half of my name to go, right? So what you have to do to stop that, because what's going to happen is kids are going to be done sooner. And what happens when kids don't have anything to do? They like to cause trouble, right? So we got to keep them moving all the time. So what you're going to do is you can use any type of our other task cards, any kind of fitness cards that you have, and you're going to create a fitness station. And you're going to put those cards down in that station over there so that when they're done spelling their name, they have to go to the fitness area. It's also your cue, because when you see everybody go to the fitness area, you know the activity is done. Okay. Now, why do we want to give a couple options? Because if you tell kids to go over to that area when they're done and just do, I don't know, you're going to do jumping jacks till everybody's done. You know what the kids are going to say? No way, not doing it. Because you've told them what to do. And what do kids want? They want power and they want choices, right? So if you tell the kids, you can go over there and there are 4 options, 5 options, however many you give them. You can choose any one that you want. Now you've given them power. So now they go over to that station and they go, okay, I want to do push-ups. Oh, I want to do flamingo stance. Oh, I want to do, jumping jacks. You've given them a choice. Put jump ropes over there if you want. Put some equipment over there, whatever you feel. Make sure if you're using jump ropes, you have the proper spacing, right? Put poly spots down and they have to be on the poly spot when they rope, right? But give them options. Then when the activity is done, you're good, right? Everybody's been moving the whole time, no problems. Okay, so that is jumping with the alphabet. Now, the other way that this is creative is spelling tests. Connect with your classroom teachers, right? Go to your classroom teachers and say, hey, you have a spelling test coming up. Let me see it. Or to have them write it down. You want all the kids to have the spelling list, scramble the order of the words, because you don't want all the kids going to the same letter, right? Same word, same letter. So scramble the order of them. And it's okay if 5 kids are even at the same task card. No big deal. They can work out together. Right? But now these kids are studying for their upcoming spelling tests while they're being active, right? So now you're connecting with the classroom teachers. Okay. Vocab. Do they have vocab lists? Absolutely. Create a writing station. They're gonna spell the words out, but when they're done spelling the word, they got to go over to their paper at the writing station and write the definition for that word. Now we're working, right? We're moving, we're spelling, we're writing our vocab, the meanings of these words. Kids are learning, but they're having fun, right? They're not just sitting at a desk writing these things out, right? They would much rather do that. And you would much rather have them do that too, because they're going to be engaged the whole time. Okay. So that's with the letters. Then with the STEM piece, using these STEM cards, you can actually put that underneath as well. So that when they get to these cards, it's an extra dose of activity and knowledge, right? So they get to the card, they do the activity for whatever number you've told them to do. And before they can move on to that next letter, they got to quickly look at a science, technology, or engineering question, right? Or math, science, technology, engineering, math. They look at the question. Do they have the answer at the bottom? Yes. But hey, it's a learning moment. It's no different than when you're studying off a study guide for a test, right? So all of these things are all combined here. Spelling, vocab, STEM, everything with movement, okay? And then as a little surprise, right? On the back, you're going to have numbers too. So you can do the same concept with numbers, right? You can do number recognition. Little kids see their sheets. They have to match. On their sheet is a 10. They have to find the 10, right? We're matching. You can do phone numbers. Do a whole thing, a whole week on safety, where kids have to learn their emergency phone number, write a letter home. We're focusing on safety this week. Please send me the emergency contact that you want your child to know. Who is it and who's the emergency contact? Pre-write that, and the kids are running around constantly repeating that phone number, learning it, embedding it into their head in case there's an emergency. Okay, and then math, right? Just like that vocab station, you can have a writing station where they go to their paper, 3 + 2, they write down 5, and now they got to go run and find the 5 and do the activity underneath it. Okay, so all simple ways to get kids moving, minimal equipment, but we're being creative and getting these kids to move. All of these pieces are used, these resources are used to get these kids moving and to get them learning. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shift over and just show you a quick, share my screen and show you a quick, oh, very cool. I see someone said you make your own. Yep, very cool. And then let me share my screen with you to show you kind of how all of this comes together. Okay, so all this comes together here. You can see these are those question cards. You've got task cards, right? So all of these pieces here can fit together as a resource. Okay, all of the task cards, those activities, everything is done through lesson plans. You get those through the lesson plan manual, you work them all together. And then when they're done playing all those fun activities, right? Moving with the alphabet, jumping math, like rock, paper, scissors, stem, all those different activities, they finally get to this big activity board where they already know all of these activities because those are the task cards. They've already learned them all, right? Through all those games that you've played. So now we're getting kids to do a large group activity where they're learning STEM and moving. So you've got this huge 5-foot by 7-foot mat, and you've got all these little mats, and you break these kids. There could be 100 kids. You break them up into 6 teams. And then when you break them up into their 6 teams, on that large mat, each team has their own color, right? Yellow team, red team, all these different teams. And then what you're going to do is make sure they know their team color. And then you're also going to tell them whether they're doing beginner, intermediate, or advanced repetitions for that activity. So no matter what they land on, they know what exercise repetition or the repetition they're doing for that exercise. And then at their miniature mats, you want to lay those STEM cards out. So now we're piecing this all together, right? So when they play, you throw the music on. The first kid from each team races up to the mat. They roll that die. They move their beanbag onto an activity. Let's say it's windmill. They run back to their group, and their whole group is doing the windmill. And the other teams are doing whatever they landed on. So 100% participation, right? And so as soon as they're done doing that activity, this is where the STEM comes in. So the STEM, if they all did the windmill in that group, the child that rolled the dice gets to be teacher of the moment. They look at that border color, and on those cards, they would pull from the green category. And they're asking their group a question about engineering. So it all pieces together, right? So this is all tangible stuff. These kids are coming back on site. We've got all these things. Kids have been on technology. They want to touch equipment. They want to have these task cards. They want to use equipment. They want to move. They want to interact with their friends. And so this is a creative resource and different examples of things that you can do for getting these kids to move while they're learning, right? Active learning, active learning. That's what we want to do. I'm a big advocate of active learning, but I want to state right now that I don't think it should be done 100% of the time, right? Sometimes playing is just playing, right? We want these kids to just play, have fun, you know, don't have to include the academic piece. But I do think that where we can, and that there should be a time set aside for the active learning piece. Right. So we just want to always have a good balance in our programs. With that balance, you can see all the variety of activity kits, right? So we're going over STEM today. You know, we've got all the STEM right here, the STEM and the physical activity, but you can integrate academics into anything, sports, fitness, anything like that, character, SEL, math, cup stacking. All of this can be done, right, through resources. Use what you have, dip into new ones. You got to be able to be creative in integrating STEM, you know, spelling, vocab, all these things, right? We want to be able to integrate it for the active learning piece. Okay, so that is like the first part of this webinar. It's just learning a little bit about how we can do these little, you know, brain boost, instant activities, games, things that we can flare, how integrating STEM with physical activity. And now what I want to do is I want to transition into using virtual programs, virtual resources to help as a resource for getting kids to learn STEM, all right? In particular, today's STEM, right? So these kids, like I said, they've been in this virtual world for a long time, okay? Most kids we know now are on site, right? For the most part, almost everybody's back, some limitations. We still have spatial requirements, things like that. We can always be creative and work around those. There's lots of ways that we can do that with physical activity. But a lot of programs, we've looked at virtual programs, right, during that time. And you can absolutely use virtual programs to help assist you with operating your physical activity component of your program, right? You can use it on site. How? The same way you would virtually. You're just gonna project these up on a screen or up on a wall, and the kids follow along that way with your integration and actually using equipment and things as well on site. So you want to have that well-rounded program where we are still using technology to a degree, but let's get the hands-on as well. So we're creating that nice little balance of both. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen with you. This is where, if you haven't had them yet, pretty soon here, you're going to need your 10 paper balls. So if you don't have 10, and you can reuse some of them, but crumpled up 10 paper balls, and then you're going to need something to shoot in. So like a waste paper basket. Usually people have a basket near them. When I start up this next clip, I've got mine up on a table so you can see me shoot, but we are going to be doing a little bit of basketball, and we're going to be correlating that with geometry with this program. So let me launch this program up real quick for you. See if we get this up here. All right. So with this program, if you look here, working through your dashboard, I want to just slightly touch upon before we jump into this, is when you use on-site kits, right? So we just talked about like STEM Skillastics and all the different things there. There are programs, there are resources to use with those, right? So like we have this whole 25-minute training video. We have a free PE curriculum that goes with our kits. And then we also, all of those activity cards. I've had programs before, no matter what activity card they have, whether they have their own, they've used a different activity cards, whether they have our activity cards, whatever they have at home that they are at their sites that they're using. I do get a lot of, well, we're not comfortable with demonstrating these. We don't really, I mean, we like these, but the kids don't know them, or we don't have enough resources to demonstrate them. With ours, we actually have instructional videos for all of them. So you use it as a teaching tool so that you can actually teach the kids the activities if you don't know how to do them. Or I'll pause this here. You've got this here where this person, we have children and even animated ones where they actually show the kids for you. So again, project it up on a wall. No reason to feel uncomfortable like you can't demonstrate activities. We've got you covered with that. Okay, so that helps with your on-site activity kits to be able to implement. And then with a virtual program, that pretty much kind of covers everything for you. So like I said, today we're going to go over basketball and geometry. Let me share my sound with you. I'm going to show this first little clip. So what's neat about using technology and virtual programs is you can bring kids things that they would not normally be exposed to, right? That maybe you don't have access to at your site. Or, a lot of times we try to bring in specialist speakers, and we can only do a certain amount of those because there's a high cost involved with that. And they come in for a couple of days. And then now we're back to some other type of planning. Well, with virtual programs, especially like these are 30-day programs where they're all specialized: STEM and sports, basketball, cup stacking, mindfulness, right? We've got martial arts where kids get their yellow belt in 30 days. These are all ways where you can bring these kids specialized programs that maybe they wouldn't normally be exposed to. So this one in particular, we're looking at STEM and sports and how are we integrating. And with this program, they're going to focus on famous athletes. If you look down the left side here, every type of sport: golf, basketball, high jumping, football, skateboarding, right? All these different sports. And they see these professional athletes and they get really excited about, like, oh my gosh, we're watching, an NBA player play, right? Like the first one, Stephen Curry. Like they get so excited. And then we throw the twist, right? We do the disguised learning where we now link it to geometry. And now we're getting these kids where they're like, wait a minute, geometry is in basketball? Wait, geometry is in my everyday life? wait, I never knew this. Why? How are we able to do that? Not just through lecture with having the kids sit at their seat, but we're getting them engaged, active, and we're relating to their lives. Okay, so I'm going to play this first part for you. I'm going to expand my screen here, and then I'll stop it in just a moment, and we'll get some activity going with all of us here today.
Sports for Learning online platform, where STEM plus sports equals fun. Today, we are learning about basketball and geometry. First, we will watch Stephen Curry and his unique way of shooting a basketball. Then, we will run an experiment on the best way to shoot a basketball, looking at different angles and parabolas. After that, you will compete in our physical fitness challenge. And lastly, go over our PBIS lesson of the day. Now let's get started with ESPN and Stephen Curry.
This season, Steph Curry made more threes than any player in NBA history. And this postseason, his play has been the story of the playoffs. Here's a breakdown of the smoothest shooter in the NBA. Dribbling at more than 10 miles per hour, Curry can stop and set his feet for a jump shot in just a third of a second. And with virtually no wasted motion, his jumper is efficient and repeatable. His forearm is always within 5 degrees of vertical, and he consistently releases the ball as he's rising 0.06 of a second before the apex of his jump. On a three-point shot, Curry typically releases the ball between 50 and 55 degrees. At just 6'3", 4 inches shorter than the NBA average. Not only does this higher trajectory help him shoot over taller defenders, it also creates a larger target at the other end of the parabola. Compared to a flatter 45-degree release, Curry's ball approaches the rim at a steeper angle, which essentially increases the area the ball could pass through the hoop by 19%. But the most incredible part of Curry's shot is his quick release. After picking up his dribble, Curry can get off a shot in as little as 0.4 of a second, about the same amount of time it takes the ball to rotate once on the way to the basket. And it's the quickest release we've ever analyzed. In fact, in the amount of time an average NBA shooter releases the ball, Curry's shot is already airborne 12 feet above the court. To put Curry's sharpshooting.
Okay, so this is that attention grabber, right? The kids are like, whoa, and they start to see angles, and someone put, oh my goodness, in the chat box, physics lesson 2. Yes, like this is a great way to get kids to learn, right? Learn while they're being active. So this is where the experiment comes in. This is how this program is broken up. So we're going to start with the flare, right? Yeah, grab the kids' attention. Now we're into experiment phase. So if you're on site, you know, if they're at home, right? Crumpled up balls into wastepaper baskets. If you're on site, grab some bean bags, grab some hula hoops. You don't have to have a perfect size hoop, right? Grab some buckets if you have them. You can even have kids shooting into the same buckets. You don't have to have every kid have their own bucket. So using tangible equipment with these virtual programs, if you're on site, or you can break it down simpler, right? So the first thing that we are going to do, and I'll keep this at full screen, let me move this over here, is you can see that we dive straight into this STEM and sports experiment. Now, normally she'll explain this experiment and then the kids will do it with her, but we're going to do it together today. So I'm going to have her explain the experiment for about 30 seconds, and then we're all going to do this experiment together after she's done explaining it. So here we go.
Hi everyone, it's Danielle with Sports for Learning. I hope that you enjoyed the ESPN Sports Science video with Steph Curry and what makes him such an awesome shooter. Today, we're going to be doing a fun basketball experiment, testing out different arcs or parabolas when shooting a basketball and seeing which one yields the best results. As you can see, I'm in my living room. We have designed all of our games so that you can participate with us at home. For this experiment, you'll need 1 waste bin and 10 pieces of paper. So this is how the experiment will work. We'll be taking 10 shots at the hoop using 3 different arcs or parabolas. The first way is going to be 0 degrees, which is straight across. The second way is 90 degrees, which is straight up. The third way is 50 to 55 degrees, which is the Steph Curry way. For reference, let's think about a rainbow. A rainbow is about 42 degrees, so we're going to be aiming a little bit higher than that. Are you ready? All right, let's get this experiment started.
All right, so as you can see, the test one is 0 degrees. So we're going almost flat across. Of course, you're going to probably come up a little bit, but it's almost like a line drive. So what you're going to do is I've got my paper balls all next to me here. If you have a waste paper basket, you can put that up. I'm going to put mine right back here. Not too close. Put it right back here. And you're going to shoot 10 total shots. So I can't see some of you. I know maybe some of you can't have your cameras on. That's okay. But I hope you're doing this behind the scenes. You're going to take your paper balls and you're going to shoot a total of 10. And remember how many you got. When you're done, I'm going to open up the chat box here. In fact, I'm going to stop share for this so I can see all your lovely faces. Yes. Okay. Awesome. I see a couple people there. All right. So you're going to take your paper balls. You're going to shoot them to see how many you can get in. But remember, we're going 0 degrees. So it's almost like a straight across shot. No arcing on this, no parabolas at all. Okay. So we're going straight across and you're going to see how many you get out of 10. And when you're done, I want to see it in the chat box. I want to see everybody just quickly put in the number they got for that so we can all compare our results. Okay. So 10 total shots. And then in the chat box when you're done, everybody go ahead. Oh, all right. When you're done, put them in the chat box. All results in. I like to see the smiles. 2, 2. All right. Awesome. 2. Okay. So I'm going to jump back into this so you can see how they go over the results with the kids. But again, remember, whenever we're dealing with any kind of virtual program, you're as much involved as the instructors. You still have to be connected with the kids, right? You're doing things with them if your program allows you to, doing movements with them, engaging with them. And when we do things like this, just like I'm doing with you, I'm not going to have this person do the whole program. I could choose to do that, but you can see I'm very much engaged with you during this. So I'm going to share my screen. Oh, I see someone got 3. Awesome job. I'm going to share my screen again and let's go over the results. I'm going to fast forward through her part where she would normally be doing it with the kids because we did that together.
Hey guys, are you ready to start the experiment?
Okay, so you can see here, we've looked at the results. So she got 1 out of 10. And this is where you're going to have this discussion with your kids. How many did you get? How many did you get? And you'll go through it that way. Okay, and then we're going to have 2 more tests, right? We need to do the 90 degree and then the Steph Curry way, right? The 50-55. So we're going to move straight forward to test number 2, which is right here. I'm going to leave her results up for right now. Oops. Stop share here. Okay, we're going. So collect your paper balls. Test number 2. Remember, we're doing 90 degrees. So you're going way up, right? This arc, this parabola, you might hit your ceiling, but we're going up, right? The kids love this one. All right, so here we go. Take all 10 shots and then put them in the chat box. Go ahead. Oh. Oof. All right. 90 degree. Write them in when you're done. Oh, very good. I think someone got 5. 3.5. Was that like a rim shot? It was almost in and then it went out. Very good. 1 on accident. Hey, it still counts, even if it's an accident. I played basketball all through college. Even if they went in, I didn't mean to. I never admitted it. Good. 1, 4. Excellent. While you're typing the rest of those in, I will share the screen back up. Let's look at her results as well. So let me go into results. Okay, so 0 out of 10. So there was 0. I actually had a lower success rate on this one as well. Oh, we did that backwards, I think. Okay, so now we're going to test number 3, which is the Steph Curry way, right? So that 50 to 55 degree angle. So that's really where it should be. So we're going to represent what we just saw from this pro basketball player. So this is the last test. So grab your paper balls, any of them that you happen to make in. Having some fun here, right? While we're learning a little bit about parabolas, and we're going to get into some questions in a minute. So 50 to 55 degrees, 10, and then put in your results at the end. Everyone can go. Try your best. All right. That was a good one. Did pretty well on that one. Felt good about it. Any results in there? All right. 7, 6. You see how the numbers are going up? We can see which parabola worked best. Very good. 6, 7, 8. Beautiful. All right. 5. Excellent. Let's see how we did up here as well for our results. So we got, wow, 50%. So we can see for her as well, this was the best one out of all 3 tests. So once the kids are done with the test, we review all 3. What did we do? What was our success rate? So now the kids are learning a little bit of this math, right? So we got test number 1, right? We got 1. So that was a 10% success rate, right? Test number 2, she had gotten 0. So now the kids, you can even have them as you're on site, whether it's virtual or on site. What's your percentage? What's your percentage? If you got 5 out of 10, what was your percentage? Okay, it was 50%. What was 4 out? It was 40%, right? So you're going to have the kids start to look at percentages. Yes, someone just wrote in percentages and fractions. Exactly, right? So we're learning math, but we're fully engaged, right? We're doing this fun activity. So now that we're done with the final results, as well as graphing them. Absolutely. I love the comments. Keep them coming. So now with this, we go to experiment questions. Okay. So we want the kids to think about what we just did. So this is broken down into different grade levels, right? So whichever grade level you're working with, we'll today talk about 3 to 5. Okay. So with 3 to 5, I'm going to open up the chat box and I want everybody to write in the chat box an example in real life of when you see an arch or a parabola. So for example, we already know that rainbow was one of them, right? So rainbow would be one. So I just want to see everybody type in something as far as what they feel, what do they see? What's in the world, right? Let me see them. Bridges. Yes, absolutely. Bridges, rainbows. I'm waiting for one in particular that comes every time. It's the golden arches. Archway, yes. Dome, beautiful, yes. I've also heard in one of my other doors, I've also heard a dog's tail. I thought that was very creative. I also had one person say a smile. Well, wow, that's really creative, right? So you can get really creative, right? Like, where do we see like little arches anywhere, right? So it's a really cool way to get the kids engaged. Amazon smile. Yes, that is very true. Hilarious. Yep. St. Louis arch. Yep. I always get somebody that types in McDonald's. It always happens every time. But I like that we threw St. Louis in there instead. Thank you. So yes, Golden Gate. Yes. Excellent. So this is really cool because you get to see your students really kind of jump in and they see how we're opening up their brain, right? We're opening up their thought process. Like before they entered this lesson, right? Any of these all this STEM stuff we're doing today, like they probably never stepped on a basketball court or did basketball in your program and thought about parabolas and arches, right? That wasn't there. I know I didn't as a kid. I didn't have stuff like this going on, right? So it's a really cool way to tie it in. But then once we step off the basketball court, right? Not everybody's a basketball player, right? Where do we see it in real life? Oh, wow, that bridge. Oh, wow. Oh, I'm over here and I see this doorway. right? Oh, look at that dog's tail. It's technically an arch, right? It's all these different things. So now we're getting them to think outside the box and to further their thought process with all of this. And then what we do here is we give them these answers, right? So things that they may not have thought of: Eiffel Tower, water fountains, bananas, a curveball, a swing set, right? And we can get more intense with the upper grade levels, or we can bring it down a notch for the little ones. Okay, talking about shapes and things like that. So then we move into what is the physical fitness challenge. So this is going to be our last challenge of the day. We're going to see who is going to win this challenge. What happens is, and they do a whole different one, but just due to time today, we're going to cut it short and just do something really simple. What you have to do is you have to get, I want everybody to get 5 paper balls. And what we're going to do is when I say go, you have to make all 5 baskets. Okay, so all 5 has to go in there. And then you have to do 5 jumping jacks. And whoever's done first, I want you to put in the chat box, yay or hooray or done with an exclamation point so we know that you have finished. Okay, so this will be the physical fitness challenge. Normally, we got 5 here. Normally, the way they do it is a lot more intense. There's push-ups involved, there's jumping jacks, there's cardio, muscular strength, you know, there's shooting. So know that the physical fitness challenge will be a little longer than what we're doing right now, but I'm just giving you a little taste of what that competitive edge, getting the kids like excited about the end challenge. Okay, so you're going to take your paper balls. Now, the way that we do this is you have to make them all. And I've had people ask me before, let me stop my share here, is you have to, spotlight, okay. So you have to make them all. So, but that doesn't mean you have to make them all in a row. Because I've had people before where they've made 3 or 4 and then they miss one and they take them all out and they think they have to start over. And that's not true. So as long as you make it in, it stays in there. But if you miss, say 2 and you make 3, you got to go get those 2, come back and shoot until you make all of them in. As soon as you make them in, 5 jumping jacks, type in that you're done. Congrats. We'll see who finishes first on this. All right. So everyone get your paper balls ready. And we're going to do this on go. So ready, on your marks, get set, go. Oh no, I missed it. Good. Keep going. Keep going. Good. Good. Keep shooting. Got to make them in first. Oh, I see jumping jack already. Oh, we got the typing. Who's going to come in first? Oh, Destiny got it. Well done. Oh, that was a close one. I saw 2 of you typing in quickly. It was like a matter of who had the typing. Everybody else should be finishing up. Keep going till you're done. I love that. I see someone that did their jumping jacks, even though we're done. That is what it's about. We always need to finish. We need to have the kids finish up as well. So it's not like, oh, we have someone that won and let's just be done. We constant, right? We want everybody finishing, right? That's just a lesson in life. You always finish what you start, right? So we want to keep that in perspective as well. Now, the last thing we always like to tie in, right? PBIS, SEL, right? We want to keep all these things in perspective for the kids to be exposed to. So after they do their fitness challenge, which you can see here is if you do play this for the kids, they are going to see that they're doing this together at home. So they're doing, push-ups and all this other stuff involved with this for that challenge that will take quite a bit of time to finish. You can see they're still going. It takes at least, about 10 minutes or so to do the actual fitness challenge. Once they're done, we have a PBIS goal of the day, right? So we want these kids to have this takeaway. So I'm going to just play this for you real quick.
We are going to focus on building positivity in our relationships. The goal for today is to give 3 compliments to each member of your family. Good luck, and we'll see you next time at
So with this being
Sports
said,
for Learning.
Let me just exit out of here. I'm not sure. I'll just hit stop share. So with that PBIS, right? So we want to give compliments, right? What I would do with my kids is right now on site, or if you are virtually through a chat box, I would direct them to give compliments to each other, right? We're going to implement it right away. And I would start it out. I like how Destiny was doing her jumping jacks and how excited she got at the end. Congratulations, you did so well. And so now everybody's complimenting each other, and we're reinforcing that within peer-to-peer complimenting. And then they know, hey, there you go. Congrats, Destiny. See, got the positivity going on already in the chat box. And so now when they go home, they know their assignment too is to make sure, oh, thank you, you're awesome as well, is to make sure that you compliment your family members, right? We want to have that politeness. We want to have that kindness, right? All that to keep trickling through, right? Because let's be honest, right? You could be the best athlete in the world. You could be Miss or Mr. Athletic, amazing person. But if you're a rude, mean person, guess what? You're not going very far, right? Because kindness and love are the two most important things in this world. So when you have that, everything else falls into place. So we want to make sure that we constantly make sure that these kids know that that is what is important and to be good people. And then we want to lead them through all these different activities, give them a positive, fun experience being physically active, and also integrate academics where we can. So I appreciate your time today. I think, everybody, for those of you, some of you I couldn't see, but I know you were there, and some of you turned your cameras on and off. And for those of you who I could see participating, thank you so much. If you have any questions at all, I will quickly share my screen with you as far as contacting. If you have anything as far as just to talk about physical activity, whether it's things we did today, whether it has to do with some of the Skillastics stuff, or if it's just things that you're dealing with in your program, just an issue that you might be having or a question that you might have. This is my passion. This was all I ever did was PE after school and camps. That is where my heart lies. And that is where I am best at, right? I want what's best for your programs. So it doesn't matter whether it's about this, whether it's about something else, as long as it pertains to physical activity, I am here for you. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I thank you all so much for your time today. And I hope that you reach out and we can connect further to get the kids moving in your program. So thank you so much again for all of your time.
Thanks, Jess. You are awesome. We love having you a part of our Beyond School Hours family, and we're so glad that you could join us for this webinar today. And I want to thank everybody else for taking some time out of your busy schedules to join us for our follow-up series. We'll have another webinar again next week. Paula put some information in the chat box about how you can register for upcoming webinars. Please remember, we will be in Orlando February 23rd through the 26th, 2022, and you can register now. Registration is open. If you need a certificate of attendance, there's a link in the chat for that as well. So again, thanks everybody for joining us. We hope to see you again soon. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.